Internet, what is really, really, really good? You know who it is. It's the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And of course, I'd like to welcome you guys back to another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And yo, WWE presents the Royal Rumble year 2017 live from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, baby. Let you know what it is. And yo, the Royal Rumble is officially our start down the road to WrestleMania, which will feature the greatest spectacle in all of sports entertainment, blah blah blah, you know the drill. Is that yo, this ain't even gonna be that long because I have a lot more to talk about after we talk about everything that happened versus everything that happened, which is not odd given what it is we're talking about. So how about we get started, because as usual, got the results in front of me because I actually watched the kickoff show for one match in particular, and we'll actually get to that match in a second. But to start off our kickoff show, we had a 6-woman tag match with Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, and Naomi versus Alexa Bliss, Natalya, and Mickie James. And here's some of that starting the road to WrestleMania business, because Naomi pinned Alexa Bliss. Now, the thing is, like, I think that was the previous episode of SmackDown where Naomi had just came back off injury. I think the injury was kayfabe. I don't know if she was like really injured, but that's what they said. Well, she finally came back like, yo, I want a match. And then Alexa Bliss strolled down to the ring like, nah, you don't want a piece of this. Because Naomi was originally supposed to get a shot at Alexa Bliss a while back. So this is a little bit of that course correction of what's trying to happen. I really think that for now, Becky Lynch is out the title picture. More likely than not, she's going to have, Becky Lynch will be wrestling Mickie James on the kickoff show to WrestleMania. Because you don't put that on the card. That's just a thing you don't do. So, I don't know what's up with Nikki Bella and Natalya, what they going to do with that. They'll probably try to solve all that before WrestleMania, then give them something else they can actually go do. In the finale of finalies, Gallows and Anderson are your Raw Tag Team Champions. This was a thing I was saying was going to happen for months, but not for the reasons that it actually happened. Because given the state of the tag team division on Raw as of this moment, I'm leaning less on Enzo and Cass actually being in between now and WrestleMania, being legitimately in the orbit of Gallows and Anderson. Unless that's how they ultimately write it. Because again, when the brand split happened, I sat up and called my shot initially. Enzo and Cass are going to win the titles at Mania, because that's just a thing that just seemingly makes sense for a brand that is all about the moments and memories and shit like that versus the actual state of professional wrestling, I guess I want to say. So I'm not really sure like what the hell this is actually going to lead to, but we're actually going to talk about Cesaro and Sheamus a little later on in this broadcast, so keep that in mind. Nia Jax beat my boo Sasha Banks, and I'm just sitting up here like, you know what, I'll say it, poor Sasha. Is that we're going to get more into this in a second. But the weird way that they tried, because it's like for months, all we had was the back and forth between Charlotte and Sasha, back and forth. Let's trade the title back and forth, this, that, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and did that for months. And then one day, you know what? Charlotte has to fight Bayley now, so let's give Sasha something to do, and let's just put up her against Nia Jax, who we don't know the fuck we gonna do with her ass, which led to this, and Nia whooped that ass. So I have no idea what they even trying to build at here. No clue, no idea. I'll pretend that I do for the sake of conversation, but that'll be a lie. I don't know, and it'll probably be a while before I watch enough of this damn soap opera, because that's what the fuck I have to call it, to figure out what the hell's actually going on here. How about that? To the actual pay-per-view that people pay money to see, our opening match was Charlotte versus Bayley, and Charlotte whooped that ass. Not saying that Bayley, that it wasn't a great match, but the majority of the match was Charlotte. Charlotte was just asserting her will on Bayley, but here's the magical thing about all of this. None of it fucking matters, and you wanna know why? Because Bayley's going to beat Charlotte at WrestleMania. This is a thing that's going to happen. I don't know what kind of level of screw job is going to happen, how you're actually going to write this, make it believable, but Bayley is going to beat Charlotte at WrestleMania. It's what they're building towards. It's the only logical thing that makes sense. I wouldn't even expect a course correction on this plan to give Bayley the title at WrestleMania. But here's the little twist in that. If you don't give it to her at WrestleMania, you do it at the night after. One of the two. Because some things you've got to assume about the immediate future of the women's division. They got to do something about Asuka, because they need to get her ass off NXT and actually onto the main roster so she can actually do something. Because all she do in NXT is just stomp fools all day long. That is what she does. The rest of the women's division down in NXT, it is what it is. The thing is, and this is important, this is very important, is that you just have to sit up here and just try to figure out like what's going to happen next. And again, like I said, Asuka isn't long for NXT. I would prefer they send her over to SmackDown, but she probably gonna be on Raw. That's just saying, that's more than those logical things that make sense, because the smart thing to do, and this would be the thing, if they decide what they're trying to do is protect Charlotte, is let Bayley win. The next night she come out, Asuka comes out, imposes her will like Asuka does, and she just has a long monster reign as the Raw Women's Champion. Seems like the most logical thing that makes sense. There you go. There you go. See, we discussed at length about this, maybe longer than I should have, but I said what I've got to say. Please, Asuka, come save this division. Or either division, both of them. Well, the SmackDown Women's division don't really need as much saving, because they kind of got where their course is going to go. Naomi going to win the title. It ain't an if for win. But poor, like I said, Becky Lynch going to be wrestling Mickie James on pre-shows from now on. That's just how the fuck it's going to be. And whatever they do with Natalya and Nikki Bella, and you got Carmella, she too busy hanging around with James Ellsworth, old motherfucking asshole. So there you have it. See? Problem solved. Or not, I don't know. Kevin Owens is still your Universal Champion, and I'm kind of like, why? Well, I'm not saying that like why, as in why, because see, here the thing is, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns was going at each other, and something about a sexy pinata. Okay, we got that. They was going dumb, and then that thing that I don't like happened again with Braun Strowman, and I'm like, huh? Like, if I actually use video to record this, I would be rolling my eyes over and over again, because as soon as Braun Strowman ass came out, I was like, the fuck? Why? Like, why? Why is this happening? Because it's like, the thing is that, you know what? I know it ain't no stall. I know how to exactly say this. Is that Braun Strowman coming out there doing what Braun Strowman do, because Braun Strowman does that, is even though Kevin Owens won, it was a way to protect Roman Reigns, because it's like as has been proven over and over again about math teachers and the like, is WWE gonna do whatever they gonna do to protect their golden child and Roman Reigns. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. Nothing is like that, and it is what it's going to be. All day, every day, it's going to be that. The thing is, and this is important, is at this point, you've got to sit up here and you've got to figure out what it is that you wish to do about Kevin Owens and the Universal title. Because if the thing you are choosing to do here is to have him and Chris, to have ultimately Chris Jericho betray him for reals, which is an option that you have, is that you would save that for Fastlane, that you would save the build up for Fastlane, and we will talk more about this later, with SmackDown having the course correct pay-per-view in the Elimination Chamber, brought to you by Sleazy E, is that you really got to figure out what you're going to do here. And our main event of the evening is going to be very important in trying to build storylines and do all this on our road to WrestleMania, which all of this will then be reset the week after the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania, because, you know, that's just how shit works. Like I said, and it bears repeating, the match was amazing. No bull. You know what I'm saying? Match was amazing. No bull all day. Braun Strowman came out, and I was like, why? Then I remembered, this is what I choose to entertain myself with. So I was just like, okay, nothing I can do about that. Something sexy pinata. Moving right along, Neville beat Rich Swann. That was just a thing that was going to happen. I have to say, just on the subject and off of it at the same time, I'm a fan of Neville's heel turn. Because when he was going around, man, Gravity forgot, in matches with Stephen Amell, stuff like that, he was cool. I like New Neville. New Neville, eat that business, and I like that. It's like, the Cruiserweight division has been better than I thought it ever would be. Especially because they get their chance to shine on 205 Live. And it's like, you're not front loading that too frequently on Raw. But they got their own show to do after SmackDown, so you get all the Cruiserweight action you want. So, again, just to get it 2 cents to the Cruiserweight, shout to them doing their thing. It should be interesting to see where this run with Neville goes and how long do you let it go. Because my assumption, and this is usually an assumption because we're talking about the WWE here, is he gonna lose it at WrestleMania. But the question is, you got 3 months to build up to who he's going to lose it to. So it should just be very interesting to really see like how the Cruiserweight division, while they're adding new stars and developing around this, about this title picture. I'd give it, and I mean this, 6 months to a year. Cruiserweight tag belts. 6 months to a year. Just seems like the logical thing for WWE to do, just to give more Cruiserweight some gold and something to do in their spare time. I don't know. John Cena beat AJ Styles in what was an amazing matchup. That also means John Cena has technically tied Ric Flair or surpassed him or long surpassed him, depending on what you consider numbers, what you technically consider reigns on a title belt, something WCW, I'm not really sure. Regardless of all of that, that was an amazing matchup. I was amazing. That's my match of the night. And I'm not sitting up here saying like I wouldn't have said this normally of a match between John Cena and AJ Styles. But it was an amazing match. They brought the heat. That's just amazing wrestling. That's all it was. AJ always doing this thing, and when John Cena want to clown, John Cena clowns. The thing is that this was one of those things that I said a couple of months ago, and another recap is that I didn't expect this to happen until WrestleMania. And given what we're about to talk about, is that Elimination Chamber is about to become a lot more important when we talk about the course correction and how WWE wishes to use this course correction as they use pay-per-views to try to course correct, which is our word for the day. Our word for today is course correct. Just thought you might want to know. The Royal Rumble match, our main event of the evening. And yo, the thing is about this year, it wasn't really no surprise entrance or anything like extra weird going on. It's like, hell, even the Kofi thing was kind of meh. But they always were kind of, but this one was really, The only thing for real that's like, I don't even want to say noteworthy was, one of the things the internet caught was Ty Dillinger at number 10. You know, the whole perfect 10 gimmick, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But before we get to the winner, a couple of things that I heard on the internet that I thought I might have been excited for but didn't see was my original pick before I knew everybody who was going to be in the Rumble thinking they were going to be surprise entrants was I thought that in a matter of course correction, Finn Balor was going to come back and win the Rumble. Because, again, Seth Rollins put his ass on the shelf since the second of forever. So I figured that that'll be the perfect thing to do. Do another Edge thing. Like, be off the hell, then come back and win the Royal Rumble. That didn't happen. Joe didn't have a match at TakeOver last night. So I figured they finna finally bring Joe to the main roster. No Joe. So all of that is gone. Brock got shook by Goldberg again. Goldberg got shook by Undertaker. And Undertaker got shook by Roman Reigns. Yeah, that was the thing that happened. Because Randy Orton won the Royal Rumble. Now, the internet been saying for a week he was going to win the Royal Rumble. That's what the streets been saying for a week. And I kind of looked at that with a question at the time when I was still thinking that they were really going to do something with my boy Finn Balor. Like, he going to come back and win the Royal Rumble because it was the thing that makes sense. Because I looked at the field as it was growing and it was like, it just depends on what it is that they ultimately want to do. It's like, I was surprised AJ Styles wasn't in the Royal Rumble, given that Roman Reigns was in it, came in at number 30, but AJ lost the match, so I was surprised he wasn't in the Rumble, even though he probably wouldn't have won it. But that would have been, some nice comeuppance. So, the thing that I wanted to get to and wanted to really talk about was how the Royal Rumble is used as a storytelling device to build stuff. We saw the beginning of the implosion of Cesaro and Sheamus, which should have never happened in the first place. Still salty. I knew neither Brock or Goldberg was going to win the Rumble because if one of them would have won the Rumble, then the other one would have had to win the world title or the universal title in this instance because they are both Raw superstars, technically. I don't think that Undertaker was going to dig enough holes and take enough souls to do it, even though that after John Cena won, I kind of had my questions about would they really give a Royal Rumble to Taker in this instance, and that didn't happen, neither. It was Luke Harper turned on Bray Wyatt, which was a thing that needed to happen. Where the hell's Eric Rowan at? That's an interesting question. So, again, this is important, is that course correction, because we're at the part of the show where we have to talk about course correction. Randy Orton is going to WrestleMania. The thing we don't know, and this is the question that's been in there, thank you, Chris Benoit, for this, is we don't know which champion he's going to challenge at WrestleMania yet. We don't know. Will he challenge John Cena? Will he challenge Kevin Owens? I don't know. Here's the thing, though. Kevin Owens, if they are trying to build a Jericho thing, he will not be the champion going into WrestleMania. And Raw at some point using Fastlane, that's going to be their course correct pay-per-view if they decide that what they don't want is a Kevin Owens, if they don't want Kevin Owens walking into WrestleMania the champion. It's not going to be something weird where Seth Rollins is going to win it to give Triple H something to do. Hell no, they just going to fight. Because I have to admit, Seth Rollins coming out of TakeOver, that shit was hot. So that's out of the picture. It's completely out of the picture. So at this point, this is what the road to WrestleMania looks like. What WrestleMania is ultimately going to be. Is that at this moment, we have no idea who else is going to be in Sleazy E's Elimination Chamber. No idea. We know John Cena has to go in and defend it. I'm going to assume, because this is the day that ends in Y, and today is Monday, is AJ Styles will be put into that match, and either one of the two things are going to happen, because the Elimination Chamber is in a couple of weeks from now. It's either he gets a blowback rematch some point on SmackDown before the Elimination Chamber, loses, but then wins a match to qualify for the Elimination Chamber, or his rematch will be contested in the Elimination Chamber and AJ will bitch about it because, hey, whatever. I am hoping, and I'm saying this live, that the internet is wrong as fuck about AJ having to wrestle Shane. And as much as Shane is my focus, he's my focus, and that's real talk. That's real talk. That's a waste of AJ Styles. Is. Period. Just like when he wrestled Jericho last year, waste of AJ Styles. Made no sense. The feud was over. Why did Jericho take a win off him in WrestleMania? Only God knows. And God in this case is Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So whatever. Reigns and The Undertaker. That seems like the thing that makes sense. But the thing is that there's no streak. There is no streak. So you don't have to worry about that. If Undertaker takes another L, then whatever. I don't know if you choose Reigns to be the one to put Undertaker on the shelf permanently for him to retire, because he should have been in the Hall of Fame 50 million years ago. So I don't know about that. Brock gonna beat Goldberg at WrestleMania. That's the thing that's going to happen. It's the thing that logically makes sense, because something WrestleMania 20, and I will continue to be quiet. So, just to review. Oh, that is my alarm, because I am supposed to get up and do adult responsible things. Please stop. Anywho. Just to review, with everything we got popping off course correction wise, is SmackDown has the Elimination Chamber. If John Cena is going to be the champion coming out of Elimination Chamber, that's a possibility. Because the other thing, and the thing I just thought about, you could flip the coin, is you could have John Cena lose in the Elimination Chamber, get his rematch at WrestleMania if Randy Orton challenges for the Universal Championship, and then have him exceed, quote-unquote, Ric Flair at WrestleMania, making that a true WrestleMania moment, because, that's just how the WWE thinks about shit. So, again, between now and WrestleMania, there's a lot of course correction that can and probably will be done, but I would say that it ain't all I'm going to say, is that we'll know exactly what's going on, because we'll be right back to the business when SmackDown does Sleazy E's Elimination Chamber in a couple weeks, and then Fastlane is sometime after that, and then we have that long build of no pay-per-views where it's going to be just Raw SmackDown episodes that they can do something with and try to build up for whatever the hell they're going to do for WrestleMania. So it should be interesting to really see. A great pay-per-view overall. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed myself as usual. So it'll be interesting to sit here and try to guess course correction. So that's that. That is another pay-per-view reviewed refreshed and reloaded and given to you by the one and the only, the G.O.D. Again, this is another installment of Triple the Gas Speaks On, but that you knew too. And with that, I'll talk to you guys next time, man. Peace out.